In the headlines, former governors Darie Joli Inyame released from prison after state pardon. Flood kills 9, displaces over 6,000 across 11 local government areas in Kano State. Hello and welcome to Trust News Update. I am Ayuba Ilya. Thank you for joining. And now the details. 4 months after they were granted state pardon by the National Council of State, the former governor of Plateau State, Senator Joshua Darie, and the former Taraba State Governor Joli Inyame on Sunday were released from prison. They were released together with 159 convicts who were also pardoned by the National Council of State, led by the President Muhammadu Buhari on April 14, 2022. According to the Federal Capital Territory Nigeria Correctional Service, the former prisoners had since left the prison, while Inyame was sentenced for 12 years for diverting 1.64 billion naira during his tenure as governor of Taraba. Darie was sentenced for 10 years imprisonment for 1.126 billion naira fraud. Justifying the clemency, the senior special assistant on media and publicity to the president, Garba Shehu, said that it would have been insensitive for the president not to pardon the duo, saying that they had life-threatening illnesses. The Nigeria Police Force has dismissed yet another officer who was caught in a video beating a man with a machete in the Ekori community of Cross River State. The police constable was dismissed after facing an orderly room trial in which he was found guilty of the offense. Addressing journalists at the force headquarters in Abuja, the Force Public Relations Officer, Olumuyiwa Adejobi, said that the Nigerian police frown at any act of misconduct, especially one that involved an officer maltreating another innocent citizen, adding that such conduct will not be tolerated, stressing that any officer caught engaging in act of indiscipline will be dealt with accordingly. The men of the Ondo State Security Network Agency, Amotekun, have apprehended 6 persons suspected to have abducted a traditional head, Chief Mukaila Bello, and 3 others along the Owo-Ikare-Akoko Road. The victims were traveling from Akure to Ikare last Thursday when the assailants attacked around Ago Panu village, shooting the driver of the vehicle in the head and abducting occupants of the vehicle. Parading the suspects at the head office of Amotekun in Akure, the commander of the corps, Adetunji Adele, told newsmen how the suspects were apprehended. Also paraded were 2 men suspected to have abducted a man from his residence in Ore, Ondo State. Still in Ondo State, over 160 persons, mainly youths, have again been apprehended by men of the Ondo State Security Network Agency, the Amotekun. The men who were being conveyed from the northern part of the country were hiding in 2 different trucks under some cows and motorcycles. Some charms were said to have been recovered from them. Parading the suspected men at the head office of Amotekun in Ondo State, the commander of the agency, Adetunji Adele, said that they were hiding inside the trucks in a suspicious manner. After interrogation, the suspects could not give a satisfactory reason for coming to the state. The chairman of the Hausa community in Ondo State, Bala Umar, disassociated himself and his members from the suspects. It will be recalled that last week, the Amotekun Corps apprehended 151 invaders from the northern part of the country, hiding in 2 trucks carrying bags of beans in Akure. Still on security matters, 6 people were killed, 2 injured in a traffic accident along the Idiroko-Ota route area of Ogun State on Monday after a head-on collision between a gas-laden truck and a Volvo. The public education officer of the Ogun State sector of the Federal Road Safety Commission, Florence Okpe, confirmed this in Abeokuta, the state capital. The injured victims have, however, been taken to the hospital for medical attention. She warned motorists to always drive with care and obey traffic rules. River State Governor Nyesom Wike says anybody who despises the political capability of the state will be meted with the same treatment. Governor Wike made the declaration on Monday in Port Harcourt at the inauguration of the Orochiri-Oruko Water Lines Junction flyover, which was performed by the Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu. The River State Governor explained that the dynamics of contemporary politics had made it unpopular to just give votes away without the assurance of deliverable benefits to the people. The Governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, who inaugurated the Orochiri-Oroku Water Lines flyover, commended Governor Wike for his strong commitment to the delivery of physical infrastructure in Rivers State. Governor Sanwo-Olu said that though he and Governor Wike belong to different political persuasions, the invitation extended to him sent a very strong message that politicians and political leaders can come together across political ideological divides for the good of the people. This flyover bridge is expected to end the traffic congestion along the Port Harcourt-Aba Expressway and, by implication, ease of doing business around Port Harcourt. The Federal High Court Abuja has fixed September 7 for the hearing of a suit seeking the disqualification of the presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Bola Tinubu, from contesting the 2023 elections for allegedly presenting a forged certificate. Justice Ahmed Mohammed fixed the hearing just as it granted an ex parte order for substituted service on Tinubu, who had evaded personal service of court processes. Counsel to the plaintiffs, who are 4 chieftains of the APC, Godi Uche, told the court that substituted service has become necessary because all attempts to serve the presidential candidate have proved abortive as he cannot be reached. In a brief ruling, the judge, Justice Mohammed, ordered that the court process to be served on the National Secretariat of the APC and that such service shall be deemed as having been properly served on Bola Tinubu. He adjourned the case to September 7 for hearing. A media scholar, Professor Danjuma Gambo, has called for the reformation of the National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, into an independent body. The professor of mass communication explained that it will give sanctioned media outlets and threatened journalists the window for fair hearing. He further called on professional bodies in the media space to synergize for self-regulation that will ensure global best practices in media practice.
In a country like ours, already we have defined our expectations of the media in terms of the coverage of conflict. The government, on the one hand, expects the media to play, if you like, very responsible roles by de-emphasizing, by de-escalating conflicts, or by de-escalating insecurity in a way. But that is not to say that the media alone can de-escalate. They cannot. They can only contribute to discussion, to analysis, by presenting perspectives that would mitigate the effects of insecurity. There is need for the National Broadcasting Commission to be independent, just like the Independent National Electoral Commission. Otherwise, it will continue to be implicated in the suspicion that it is not objective and it is not fair. And I would strongly recommend that we have a reform so as to enhance the credibility of the National Broadcasting Commission. There is a very significant weakness within the Committee of Broadcasters where self-regulation is almost non-existent. You don't see professional organizations within the industry coming together to agree on certain standards, to restrain themselves, to manage their issues, with minimum external intervention. You don't see that. You don't see them adhering to even basic ethics. And when there is any contravention, you hardly see any significant attempt by the players within the industry to deal with these issues. And I think that is also because regulation is not just a one-way street. If the government is doing so, government is left alone to decide what to do because the industry itself has not matured to the level that it can be left and trusted to deal with its own issues.
At least 9 people have been confirmed dead and over 6,000 others displaced by floods across 11 local government areas of Kano State. While visiting the recent disaster in Ajingi local government area, the executive secretary of the State Emergency Management Agency, Saleh Jili, said government is still locating other areas that are yet to be reported. Idris Jibrin reports that properties worth over 500 million naira have been lost to the disaster.
Ibrahim Bala is one of the recent flood victims in Ajingi local government area of Kano State, whose 10-year-old daughter was killed, house and farmland destroyed after a 40-hour uninterrupted rainfall. He says he has no home, no farmland at the moment. It was unfortunate. It's really sad. We experienced rainfall for over 40 hours and I lost my daughter. I lost my home. I lost my farmland. As I'm talking to you now, I do not have anything. I don't know what to do. We are only calling on government to continue to assist us. Otherwise, we don't know where to put ourselves. As for the record before the State Emergency Management Agency, 6,417 people were affected by the flood, which also killed 9 and injured 9.
We had Kilu local government 306 with no casualty, Helena local government 62 victims with 1 casualty and 2 were injured. Lambata local government we had 1,175 and 3 were injured and 3 were dead and 5 were injured, including 3 small children with their mother carrying 9-month pregnancy.
Recently, the Ajingi Local Government Council confirmed that over 500 people were displaced by the flood, while 3 others have been killed.
We experienced the flood disaster in this local government, which resulted in the deaths of 3 people. There is Toranki, Karamakama, Ajingi, almost all the what in the Ajingi local government are affected. To say rather than to thank the government of Kano State and the ES for the same. What brought this local government. We have nothing to say. We never experienced this.
Although investigation is still ongoing to identify other areas, but the State Emergency Management Agency is calling on residents to stay away from areas vulnerable to flood attack and report any incidents to the agency for immediate assistance. Idris Jibrin, Trust TV News, Kano.
You're watching Trust News Update. Coming up shortly. Plight of rural dwellers. Details and more after the break. Thanks for staying. Let's take a look at a reminder of our top stories. Former Governors Dare Joli Inyame released from prison after state pardon. 6 dead, others injured in Ogun State road accident. The federal government says it is strengthening routine immunization as one of the means of safeguarding the lives of Nigerians, especially from infection and transmission of the dreaded COVID-19 disease. At the launch of Skills 3.0 strategy to accelerate COVID-19 vaccination in the country, the Federal Ministry of Health and the Presidential Steering Committee on COVID-19 said the launch will ensure the vaccination of at least 70% of eligible population by the end of the year 2022 through the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency and its partners. Take a look.
Skills 2.0 strategy to ramp up integrated COVID-19 vaccination and primary healthcare services. With this strategy, our national vaccination coverage progressed from 17 million to 40 million as of today for the first dose. These figures represent over 100% increase in coverage during the first phase.
I wish at this junction to emphasize that taking COVID-19 vaccine is not just an act of self-protection, but also a civic responsibility that helps to curtail the spread of this virus in our country. Every one of us has a critical role to play in the effort to stop the vaccine from spreading. I therefore want again to urge all citizens to ensure that eligible persons around you, your friends, relatives, are vaccinated.
The Skills 301 strategy will address the identified implementation gaps in Scale 2.0 and bring about more accountability for performance, strengthen electronic data reporting, and promote robust demand generation at the community levels. I have the singular honor and privilege to officially flag off the launch of the Skills 3.0 to the benefit of the people of Nigeria and in giving glory to God.
Residents of Paduma community in the Federal Capital Territory reflect the plight of rural dwellers, especially those who are poor, vulnerable, and unable to afford private healthcare services. A medical outreach organized in the community has exposed the need to intervene in the provision of health facilities in a community that is so close to the seat of power. Maradia Umar reports.
Paduma community, a suburb in the Abuja Municipal Area Council, AMAC, consists of 9 wards. Just like many other communities in the FCT, the community lacks some basic social amenities, top on the list being a healthcare facility to cater for their health needs.
Some of the things we are lacking in this Paduma 1 Asokoro extension is social health care. When we are sick, we travel far to go for treatment. Sometimes we go to Asokoro or these barracks, or we have to climb bike from here to Kobe before we can get medicine.
The major thing we would lack for this Paduma here is hospital. No hospital here. At times, if people are sick here, they need to go Kobe for the treatment.
This medical outreach in Paduma community is coincides with the commemoration of the 100 days in office of the Controller General of the Federal Fire Service in Abuja.
The reason why we are here today is that the Controller General of Federal Fire Service is celebrating 100 days in his office today. That's the reason. But for us to celebrate it in the town, I decided to come to this community to do the celebration of this 100 days of my husband in this community.
The outreach also provides an opportunity to sensitize Nigerians on the need to consciously prevent fire outbreak and disaster in homes and workplaces by applying basic preventive measures.
When you look at the terrain of our country, you find out that most of the times the cause of fire outbreak is mostly human. Most Nigerians, they are not all that too careful that when you leave your house in the morning, you make sure or ensure that the gadgets in your house are switched off.
The Controller General of the Federal Fire Service has been at the forefront of achieving the core mandates, duties and responsibilities of the Federal Fire Service across the 13 zones in the Federation. Martia Umar, Trust TV News, Abuja.
And away from Nigeria, the UN Security Council has held an emergency meeting to discuss the situation in Gaza, with several members raising concerns amid a fragile ceasefire between Israel and Islamic Jihad, a Palestinian armed group, after 3 days of Israeli air raids on the territory. Speaking via video at the start of the meeting, the UN Middle East envoy warned that the ceasefire is fragile. Any resumption of hostilities will only have devastating consequences for Palestinians and Israelis, which can make any political progress on key issues elusive. Let's now take a look at sports updates put together by Adeni Ajishafe.
Super Eagles Team B head coach Salisu Yusuf has invited 35 players to camp ahead of the 2023 African National Championship qualifiers against Ghana home and away fixtures. Top on the list is Akwa United FC first-choice goalkeeper Adeyinka Adewale, Katsina United FC defender Sani Faisal, Akwa United midfielder Babatunde Bello, Enyimba's FC safe hands Ojo Olorunleke, and Rivers United midfielder Chiamaka Madu, as well as veteran defenders Tokwe Lushesi and Samson Gbadebo. Yusuf also invited Nathaniel Nwosu, who drew rave reviews with his excellent performance in goal for the Flying Eagles as they won the WAFU B Under-20 Cup in Niger Republic in May. The winner on aggregate will qualify for the 7th African National Championship Finals to be staged in Algeria in 2023. Nigeria won bronze medal at the 3rd edition of the competition held in South Africa in 2014 and then emerged runners-up of the 5th edition in Morocco. Confederation of African Football has confirmed Kwara United as Nigeria's second representative at the 2022-2023 CAF Confederations Cup next season. The continent's football body made the confirmation on its website ahead of Tuesday's 2022-2023 CAF Interclub competitions draw in Egypt. According to existing proceedings, the winners of Nigerian Professional Football League (NPFL) are the club that places second qualifies for the Continental Premier League, the CAF Champions League, while the third-place team picks one of the available 2 slots for the second-tier Continental League, the Confederations Cup. CAF announced on Saturday that the draw for the 2022-2023 Interclub competition preliminary rounds will be conducted on Tuesday, 9 August 2022 in Egypt. The preliminary rounds for the Interclub competition will commence on home-away basis from 9 to 11 and 16 to 18 September, while the second round will be played between 7 to 9 and 14 to 16 October 2022. With this development, Nigeria's 4 representatives at the 2023 CAF Interclub competitions are Champions League, Rivers United and Plateau United, Confederations Cup, Remo Stars and Kwara United. That's sport news. I am Adeni Ajishafe.
Now, for more on sports, you watch 360 Sports coming up shortly after the news update. That's a wrap. My name is Ayuba Ilya. Thank you for watching. Bye.